Several days ago, I came here to Chaguaramas and did a walk up to the Nutmeg Grove in Tucker Valley. If you haven't seen that video, I've placed a link in the video description. I've not done the walk or any extensive walking for quite a long period of time. But after that walk, I felt so good. And that good feeling lasted for about 2 days. I decided to come back today on a Friday morning to take a walk in Tucker Valley again. I'm not going to the Nutmeg Grove again this time. Looking to go somewhere different in the same general area. But this time, I'm heading up to an area that has an old World War II bunker. I'm hoping that it's only about 20 minutes or so to the bunker. I can't remember because, again, I have not gone there in a very long period of time. If the old body says, no, you can't make it, well, I'll turn back. But I think I should be able to. So I'm off again on a walk. I've come early in the morning, well, relatively, a little after 8, because I didn't want to have to encounter the hot sun. Although, as you see, all these tall bamboo around, it's very cool and nice, very shaded this morning. So, I'm off to find the bunker. The one difference between going to the bamboo grove and the bunker, and let me switch around and show you, is that after the arboretum, that first intersection that you come to, which should be here, to go to the bamboo grove, you swing left. But to go to so you see, you swing left. But to go to the bunker, you continue straight. So I'm heading straight this morning. I call this video Walking and Talking About Food because it struck me the other day about how much Trinidadians love food. We love eating. I love food as well. I love eating also. And in fact, on my channel, this YouTube channel, I've divided the channel into playlists. And I have one playlist that is called, I've called it Outdoor Eating, because it started out as just being about outdoor places that served food. And the other day I looked, and I have presently about 58 videos on that channel. And it's growing, because I have some other videos about eating places that are in production now that will be released over the next few weeks. But it struck me about how we love food. In fact, this week, I went to Point 14 to do a sort of historical video on Point 14. And while I was there, I went to a restaurant that I'd been hearing about and I had never visited, and I decided that I should. And as I reached home from Point 14, there on my WhatsApp were 2 messages telling me about a food hub that had just been opened in the Debe area. So here I haven't even completed or edited the video on the restaurant in Point Fortin, and I'm being told about a food hub in Davie. Question. I've come to an intersection here. My memory fails me, but I recall that the bunker was in an uphill. And so there's one trail leading off on my right, and there's another one going straight. I think I'm going to go straight because it's slightly uphill. So yes, I was talking about being told about this new food hub. And we have truly seen an explosion in the number of food hubs around Trinidad. I mean, I've gone and done videos on food hub areas in San Fernando, in Chaguaramas by Baracan Grounds, in Chaguaramas by Price Plaza. We've gone up to Sandy Grande and done videos on the food hub that they've created there. And it's interesting to try to figure out why we have so many food hubs. Ah boy. Question again. Trail divides. And this time I think I'm going to go right. If it's not the way to the bunker, well, I'll have discovered somewhere new. This trail on the right, I don't think it's that. Let me go back and go up, stay on the, let me call it the main trail, even though the main trail seems to narrow into bush. Yeah, I was saying, it's interesting to try to figure out why we have so many food hubs. And I think there are a number of reasons for it. The first is that, well, with jobs being lost in the economy, people are looking for ways to earn an income, and many of them think that food is easy. So they look to get a cart, a food truck, or a space in a food hub and set up. The other is, there are a lot of people who like cooking, who enjoy cooking. And so they get into this business and get a space in a food hub. But also, I think it has also to do with the fact that our habits as Trinidadians for going out for a meal are changing. We want food in a much more casual setting, and we want it quick. And food hubs generally offer that. Certainly the casual setting, and to an extent, depending on the particular meal, it's quick. Well, if you notice the heavy breathing, you can tell it's because I haven't been doing the walk in quite a while. Hey, I took the right trail and I've reached the bunker. Let me show you the bunker, and then I'll continue about the food hubs. Didn't take very long to get here. In fact, it's faster than I thought. A little fallen branches to go through. Let me take my time. So, here's the World War II bunker. It's good to know about it. I'm not sure what that noise is. Well, that's just, oh, that's the echo of my voice. Can be a bit scary. Pitch black inside. Good to know about these places, given what's happening lately with the US and Venezuela. Who knows? I may need somewhere to come and hide. Although with the modern type of missiles and bombs, not sure how well this will stand up. But it's good to know the location of these. You might need somewhere, as the Americans say, a bug out place. Somewhere to bug out and hide. So learn the location of all these bunkers here in Chaguaramas. You might have to run here with some food and some water in need of a hiding space should Venezuela unleash its fury on Trinidad. Reached here a lot faster than I thought I would. The trail continues up the hill. I'm not sure I feel to go up the hill, at least not today. So I'm going to retrace my steps, go back down, and I'll probably take one of the side trails lower down, just to see where they lead. Or I may drive to another part of Chaguaramas and explore one of the trails there. But let me continue on what I was saying about these food hubs. Yes, it's casual settings, generally depending on the meal that you choose, relatively fast. Oh, by the way, when I was shooting my .14 video, I stood up or came out of the car to take a shot of a particular area, and I saw a car pull up behind me and a man get out. And sometimes with the situation in Trinidad nowadays, you get nervous. Who is this person? Why they pull up behind you? And there's no reason here for somebody to stop. And then the gentleman approached and said to me, I just want to shake your hand. I like what you do. I like the video that you did on the coffee street food. I saw you passing in the car and I came because I just want to shake your hand. It's glad to know that people enjoy my videos to the extent where they actually want to meet me. So to the gentleman who came in .14 to shake my hand, good morning, and I hope you continue to enjoy the videos that I'm producing. So yeah, I was talking about the food hubs and saying that there's an explosion in them because people are out of work. Some people like cooking. People want fast meals. But there's also those people who want to be their own boss, who don't necessarily want 8 to 5 working for somebody and depending on receiving a salary at the end of the month. They want to be their own boss, to be in charge of whatever venture they are engaged in. And those also are people who are gravitating towards providing food, and these food hubs are giving them the space in which to do that. So that's why we're seeing so many of these food hubs. One of the things though about a food hub, at least to me it seems, you have to look at where it's placed. You can't really put it too close to another. Otherwise, you're competing against each other, and either one will succeed and the others will die, or you will all die. You see that to an extent in the, shall we say, Woodbrook St. James area, where you have the large food hub that is on Arapita Avenue. And then you have a smaller one, which was actually there first, that is on Carlo Street, and it's called Off the Ave because it's just off of Arapita Avenue. And then not too far away, you have Woodbrook Yard. And then just down the street, you have the St. James Food Marketplace on the Western Main Road. I've done a video on both the Woodbrook Yard and the St. James Marketplace. I've done 2 separate videos on them. So if you have never been there and you want to see what they're like, I'll include the links for both of those in the video description. So yes, we were to, oh sorry, sort of drifted off. Sometimes when these freewheeling videos, you tend to drift off, and where I am sort of encourages that, because if you, as you see behind me as I spin around, it's wooded, mainly bamboo, but heavily wooded, and it's cool and calm. Yeah, I'm starting to, well, I won't say perspire yet, that'll come in a little bit, but it kind of encourages you to, your thoughts to just wander freely. But yeah, I was saying, you have 4 of these that are so close to each other. And so I've noticed that 2 out of the 4 are not really doing that well. The St. James Food Marketplace, it's basically down to maybe 3 vendors. The pizza in there, oh gosh, folks, really good. And the food addicts who do burgers, but nowadays they've expanded to pasta Alfredo and a whole bunch of other dishes. Their stuff is also very good. I've actually never tried the ice cream person in there. I should go one day. Although lately I haven't been consuming much ice cream. You know, as you get older, doctors tell you to cut down on certain things. And so dairy products was one that they tell me I have to cut back on. Age, and maybe not taking care of myself as well as I should have as I got older. So kind of cut back on dairy products. Although I still have the little weakness for a linseed and sea moss drink. Yes, so I was saying, 2 out of the 4, I've noticed they're not growing, and they're not doing as well as the other 2. And I think part of it is that they're too many, too close together. So that's one of the things about food hubs and being successful. You can't pack them very close together. Otherwise, somebody is going to suffer. Somebody's not going to make it. I mentioned the Debe Food Hub, and I'll be going there maybe this weekend if I get some company to go with me. When I went to Point Fortin, I went by myself, but it's nice on the drive to have company and have someone to talk to. So I may I'll invite a friend or 2 and see if I can get them to go along with me this weekend for us to check out there. It's on, they say, Lalby Harry Trace. Go on Google Maps to see exactly where and how to get to Lalby Harry Trace. As much as I have traversed Trinidad over the last 65, 67 years, and I know Trinidad fairly well, I don't know every road. So sometimes before I go somewhere, I go on Google Maps and look to see where exactly is the road or roads that I have to take. And I also do it to get a general idea of the area, in particular to establish, is this area that I'm hearing about that have crime problems? In their case, I haven't heard about any crime problems in that area, so I'm definitely going to go. But there's something else that's happening on the food scene in Trinidad. While we have an explosion in food hubs, we have a drastic reduction in fine dining restaurants. A lot of people don't realize it. They say, what? No. But it's true. We have less and less fine dining restaurants. And I think the reason why some people don't realize it is they don't realize the difference between fine dining and casual dining. They think once you go into somewhere that's a restaurant and it has indoor seating and maybe air conditioning, that is fine dining. No. A fine dining restaurant, a number of things that sort of set it apart. The first is you'll notice the ambience of the place. Most often in a fine dining restaurant, you will notice white tablecloths. You'll see waiters in some sort of uniform. Usually it'll be a white shirt, maybe with probably a black pants, and maybe a little black bow tie. And some of them will have I'm not sure what you call it, not an apron. I don't want to say a towel, but some cloth over their arm in case of any spills that they could quickly come and mop up or clean up at your table. Also, in a fine dining restaurant, the waiters would usually be very attentive. If you're having a meal and you want to get the attention of a waiter, in a fine dining restaurant, invariably all you have to do is raise your head and just look around. Within a minute or two, there'll be a minute or two, a waiter will be at your side inquiring. Whereas in others that are not fine dining, you have to be up and your hand in the air and you're waving to try to get a waiter's attention. And the food itself. The food itself will be of a different and much higher quality. I'll give you an example of something. Increasingly, what I'm seeing is that it seems like almost everybody is offering you some kind of pasta Alfredo with chicken or with shrimp or some other ingredients. And when I say everybody, all sorts of restaurants, but now it seems almost like every food truck is offering you pasta Alfredo. And before, pasta Alfredo was something that I would only get in fine dining restaurant. So I asked a friend of mine who's a chef and who had owned a fine dining, a real fine dining restaurant with the white tables and the waiters in uniform and all of that. How come? And how come these people are able to provide pasta Alfredo so cheaply? And he said to me, boy, that's a good question, but it has to do with the ingredients. And I said, okay, what you mean? He said, well, in a fine dining restaurant, the pasta Alfredo will be made with cream. And cream can be very expensive. He said, and it takes a while to make. So, well, how these food trucks are able to do it and sell it at that price? And he then said to me, well, it's what they're using. He said, they're not using cream. If they were, they couldn't afford to do it at the price that they're selling it at. So I said, well, what they're doing? He said, milk or bechamel. I hope I pronounced that right. See, that's a lot cheaper. And it'll give you a somewhat creamy consistency, but you won't get the same taste. So we're seeing a drastic fall in the number of fine dining restaurants. And what we have instead, which some people are confusing and saying is fine dining, what we have instead are a lot of casual dining restaurants. Don't want the owners of these places to attack me, so I'm not calling any names. But in the casual dining restaurant, well, just think of it. You're not seeing the white tables, the white tablecloths. You're not seeing necessarily the waiters in uniform. Although in some of them, yes, they may be. Usually in a fine dining restaurant, there'll be some sort of dress code for the patrons. Generally won't accept somebody coming in there in a three-quarter pants and sandals. Not in a fine dining restaurant. In a casual restaurant or casual dining, they want your money. So they're not fussing about that. And the quality of the meal will be not of the same standard. Yes, you'll get a steak. Yes, in some of them you'll get lobster and shrimp. I don't eat either of those, but there's some people who love those things. And in some of the casual dining restaurants, you'll get those sorts of things. But it's not the same standard. So we're seeing a fall in fine dining, an increase in casual dining, and an explosion in food hubs. I'm hearing a car or a vehicle coming out of this bush. Rather surprised that anybody would be coming out of this bush. It's a truck. Trying to figure out where they're coming out of here. Yeah. With a bunch of men. Not sure where they're coming from. Morning, morning, morning. Ministry of Agriculture. Okay. They must have had them up there clearing a trail. You know, I like going in the bush and taking a walk, cool and nice, and it's I hearing the birds. Not as many as the other morning when I went up to the nutmeg grove, but they're there. But you tend to pay close attention when you suddenly hear a vehicle or men come in an area that you really don't expect, at least on a day that you don't expect. If I was here on a Saturday or Sunday, well, I expect a lot of people. On a Friday morning like this, you know, pay attention. But nothing to worry about. Ministry of Agriculture staff. Anyhow, I hope you didn't mind my rambling on about the food scene in Trinidad and Tobago. And I hope you've been enjoying the videos that I produce. And if you want to see more of my videos, well, you can click on one of the two that is going to be appearing on your screen in a very, very short while. In fact, it should be appearing on the screen all now. And I welcome you to explore the various playlists that are on my channel. I mean, I've broken it down so that people can look at videos that are exclusively the sort of ones that they're interested in. If you like historical, there's a historical playlist. If you like just learn about areas in Trinidad, there's one playlist called Around Trinidad and Tobago. As I mentioned, there's one playlist that is about food. If carnival is your thing, I have a carnival playlist. If Christmas is what turns you on, there's a Christmas playlist. If you like learning about other Caribbean islands, I have a other Caribbean islands playlist with videos showing my travels in Aruba, in Curacao, in St. Martin, in St. Vincent, and in Jamaica, in Guyana. So you can explore the channel and explore the different playlists. I'm sure you'll find one that you like. Bye for now.